Hi class, you'll remember from yesterday we did our lesson on one-step algebra equations, and today we're going to move on to two-step algebra equations. So let's get started. The nice thing about two-step algebra equations is that they are essentially one-step equations that we just have to do something to first. So you'll remember one-step equations, we either had to subtract or add to get the variable by itself. So there was the type 1 type. Then we also did type 2 where you had to add something to both sides, type 3 where you had to divide, and type 4 where you had to multiply. So two-step equations just take 2 steps, and once we do the first one, they actually turn into a type 1 equation. So let's give these a go. Let me zoom in here. Alright, so I want to get x by itself. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and I'll get 2x is equal to 6. So that was my first step. Now my second step, as you can probably assume, is going to be to divide both sides by 2, and in the end I'll get x is equal to 3. I can check my work by subbing that back in. 2 times 3 plus 1 equals 7. Then I use my BEDMAS. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 equals 7, and 7 equals 7. So I know I did that one properly. Alright, let's try the next one. Here I'm going to deal with this minus 2 by adding 2 to both sides. That'll cancel, and I'll have minus 3x is equal to negative 9. Then I will divide both by minus 3, and I will have x equals a negative divided by a negative will give me a positive. X equals 3. And then once again, you can always check your work on these, which is kind of handy. Minus 3 times 3 minus 2 equals negative 11. Negative 3 times 3 is minus 9. And when I simplify it, minus 11 equals minus 11, which is good. Alright, next page. Okay, part C, there is another step that we have to do here first. And that is we have to simplify both sides as much as possible before starting the algebra. So 5m and 2m are actually like terms, and 7 and 2 are actually like terms. So this side would simplify to 7m, and this side would simplify to 9. So now this is also a one-step equation. I'll divide both sides by 7. Divide by... Once I do that, m is 9/7, or if I break that down into a decimal, it'd be 1.2857. I can go back and check my work. I'm actually going to use 9/7, and I'm going to put 9/7 in wherever there's an m. So 5 times 9/7 plus 2 times 9/7 is going to equal 7 plus 2. Okay, now I have to remember how to multiply fractions. Well, 5 is actually 5 over 1, and 2 is 2 over 1, and then I just multiply my numerators, multiply my denominators. So 5 times 9 is 45/7, because 1 times 7 is just 7, plus 18/7 is equal to 7 plus 2. And then when I add 45 and 18, I'm going to get 63/7 is equal to, and 7 plus 2 is 9, And 63/7 reduces down to 9 equals 9. So I know I did that one correct as well. You could also sub in 1.2857 for m and do the multiply, and you would probably get something very close to 9, maybe a decimal that's slightly off. But both ways would be fine to check your answer. Alright, part D. Here I want to get w divided by 2 by itself, so first I'm going to deal with this minus 1. So I do the opposite to both sides. I add 1 to both sides, and w over 2 is going to equal 12. Now I want to get rid of this divide by 2, multiply both sides by 2, and my final answer will be w is equal to 24. Again, here I can check this. I put 24 in for w. 24 divided by 2 minus 1 equals 11. Doing my BEDMAS, I do my divide first. 12 minus 1 is equal to 11, and yeah, 11 is equal to 11. So I got that one as well. Alright, let's try E next. Here, I always deal with whatever term doesn't have the variable in it first. So here it's going to be this plus 6. I have to add 6 to both sides, so I'm doing the opposite operation to get rid of it. Minus 4x is going to be equal to 18. And then I do the opposite here. It's minus 4 times x, so I'm going to do the opposite, which is divide. And here my final answer is going to be x is equal to 4.5. You can write it as a decimal, or you can write it as 4.5. Then to check my answer, I will sub it back in. And let's see here, minus 4 times 4.5 is going to give me 16, 17, 18. 18 minus 6 equals 12. And 18 minus 6 does equal 12. Okay, on to the last one for this video. Here I want n by itself. Since n divided by 3 plus 4, so I'm actually going to subtract 4 from both sides. Subtract 4. Minus 3 is equal to n over 3. Then I do the opposite of divide by 3, which is multiply both sides by 3. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9 is equal to n. And I can go back and check this. 1 is equal to 4 plus negative 9 divided by 3. Now I do my BEDMAS. So that's going to be 4 plus negative 3. And yeah, 4 plus negative 3 is 1. 1 equals 1. Oops, I got that as well.